I remember him literally going crazy at me for cutting an orange wrong. I'm sorry, I don't know how you cut an orange wrong. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm filming a kind of like a job related video. If you follow me on Snapchat or Instagram even, I've been posting a lot about the jobs that I've been having in the past few months. And I'm only 22, 23 this year, and I've been working since I was 13. So I've had 10 years of working experience, and I thought it'd be so fun kind of to share my working experience with you guys and like the worst jobs that I've ever had, and just kind of like talk to you about the kind of jobs I've had. And yeah, also if you're new to this channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below, become a part of our little family. Yeah, if you guys want to hear basically my job history, then please keep watching. So basically when I was 13, my very first job was a paper girl. Me and my brother would ride on our bikes at like 6 every morning before school and deliver the papers. It was a really good first job. I think me and my brother both worked there for probably like 3 years. We had really good bosses and we just really liked the people, all of the older people that would come and get their mail in the morning, and it was just a really nice job minus the early wake up. And then also whilst I was doing that job, I was working at a pool kiosk. All me and my like close girlfriends basically just worked part-time at a pool kiosk, which was really fun. And I worked there for probably another 3 years, so maybe from when I was 13 to 16 I did both these jobs. So one was in the morning before school, then I would go to school, and then the pool kiosk would be in the afternoon. So sometimes it'd be so hectic, I don't even know how I did it. So yeah, that were my first 2 jobs. And then when I was probably about 14, I also started working part-time at our local cafe or bakery, whatever you want to call it. So I don't know how I managed to have 3 jobs at the same time, and I also played a lot of sport. I have no idea how I had time for any of this. I worked at the cafe for like 4 years. I think that's a pretty good like job effort when I was younger, to have 3 years as a paper girl, 3 years in the pool kiosk, and also 4 years in the cafe. So they were really fun jobs to have when I was younger. But then I had to move to Melbourne, so sadly I had to quit my cafe job and move from my small country to Melbourne, the big city, and that was scary trying to find a job. But my first job was actually at an Italian restaurant. I won't name the name because yeah, then you guys will know where I lived. But I basically worked there for probably 4 months, and the only reason why I had to leave there was because you get 3 months holidays at the end of every year if you're at university. So I took those 3 months and I went back home to see my family, and then I started working at the cafe again over those 3 months. And yeah, it was all kind of like confusing, but I basically worked at that Italian restaurant as a waitress. And after that Italian restaurant, I got a job at another Italian restaurant when I moved back from my small country town. This job sucked. It seriously sucked so much, but it's not as bad as the ones that I've had recently. So that one only lasted 5 days because I didn't like it at all, and I don't think the boss liked me in the end. He just was very, very particular about what he wanted, and they were like a really high-class restaurant, so you had to do the whole holding the wine and like talk about the wine and what's in it, and then like pour it for them, and 3-plate carries and all that kind of stuff that I wasn't used to. I'd never worked in a like high-class place before. I've only worked in small cafes, restaurants, that kind of thing. So it wasn't really my jam. I didn't really enjoy working there, and everyone was so like kind of up themselves, and all the customers were just really After quitting there, I got another job at a Mexican restaurant called Taco Bell. I worked at Taco Bell for a year and I loved it so much. I'm best friends with one of the girls that I used to work with, and I'm really close friends with all the other girls. My boss was lovely, and I just really, really enjoyed working at that restaurant. It was so much fun, and even though I had to work Friday and Saturday nights, it was just like, it was a breeze, and I loved it so much. The people were great, the customers were fine, everything was great about it. I loved it. But I had to move suburbs to where I am now because that's where my boyfriend was. So I had to quit Taco Bell, sadly. It literally killed me quitting there, but I also finished uni at the same time, so I couldn't work part-time anymore, if that makes sense. Like, I was only doing like 10 hours a week, and I couldn't afford to live like that anymore. So once I finished uni, I decided I needed to be an adult and get a full-time job. So that takes me on to my next job, which was actually at a cafe. I'm not gonna name the name. And that cafe was 100% the worst place ever. Actually no, it ties with another place that I worked at. That one was so bad. I lasted for 5 days, and every single day I would come home bawling my eyes out. I would cry at work, like it was crazy. My boss was so nasty. He just picked on me for some reason, like he hated me from the get-go. Basically the story is they were newly opening this cafe, so they interviewed a bunch of people, and the chef for some reason chose all of the applicants. And when we all started, he just picked on me from the start. He made me the dishwasher, he made me clean the toilets, he made me just mop the floors and like the kitchen, all that kind of stuff, which I'm fine to do, but when everyone else got to waitress and got to be a barista, which is what I had done for like 7 years, and he made me mop the toilets and like scrub out the toilet seats, I was like, no. And he literally just yelled 24/7. I remember him literally going crazy at me for cutting an orange wrong. I'm sorry, I don't know how you cut an orange wrong, but apparently he didn't like the way I cut the orange, and I got in a lot of shit for it, and I quit right on the spot because I was literally about to break down. He was the worst boss ever, and he had never even worked in hospitality before, and that's like one thing that really gets on my nerves. But anyway, I need to stop being negative because that was like 2 years ago. I just hated that place so much. It's just... So anyway, then I came across a cafe, and it was another kind of small cafe like the one that I was used to. I worked there for a year, and my boss was really good. I enjoyed working there, but towards the end of working there, I was just feeling really lethargic and kind of unmotivated and kind of just sick of the job because it was such a small cafe. I wouldn't even do that much throughout the day, and I'd kind of just sit there and think, like, what am I doing with my life? And I've got a Bachelor of Business and Tourism, why aren't I using it, and all that kind of stuff. So in the end, I ended up quitting after a year, and at the time I thought it was the best like idea ever. I was so happy, and then ever since then, which was in October, I've had the absolute worst luck with jobs, and that's why I wanted to make this video. So I don't know why I quit that job. It wasn't that bad, but I needed more, and now I'm kind of sad that I quit that job because I've just had the worst luck with jobs. So now onto the reel of terrible jobs that I've had. I started work at another cafe after this one, and I quit after the first day. Last year I was diagnosed with anxiety, and now I'm really not good under high pressure, stressful situations, and cafes, especially in Melbourne, are super duper stressful and it's hectic busy. So I worked one day at this cafe, and it was in the CBD of Melbourne, so it was just completely packed. I had 3 panic attacks the day that I worked there, and I started crying, and I just couldn't deal with the pressure. Like, there were like 50 people lining up for me to make their coffees and their sandwiches, and it was my first day, and I just couldn't do it. I ended up quitting that day, but the boss was not happy. He was trying to like beg me basically to stay and give it a go, but I just didn't think it was good for my anxiety, and I just didn't want to be under those kind of circumstances. And then I moved into a different role. So after that, I was like, maybe I shouldn't work in hospitality. It's just a lot of pressure and a lot of high stress. Just, it's crazy. Hospitality is crazy mental. I swear it's the hardest like job to work in. But I ended up going into admin because I was like, okay, office job, it's a lot more slower. You just have to answer phone calls and talk to some clients, and that's cool. The job that I worked at next was pretty good, the actual job itself, but again, my boss was an absolute dick. He was so bad. Seriously, he was just as bad as the other person that like made me come home crying every day. I lasted here for about 3 weeks before I caved and gave in. But then I got a call from the admin who worked there before me, and she literally told me on the phone to quit. She was like, I don't know you, but you need to get out of there like as soon as you possibly can. So I basically took her advice, a stranger's advice, and quit the same day she told me that. After the admin job, I spent another probably 3 weeks searching for my next job, which happened to be another cafe. This cafe was alright. I actually kind of enjoyed it. It's kind of a long story, but basically they were using me to fill in for one of their other girls that went on holiday. So as soon as she came back, they were like, oh, we don't have any hours for you anymore. So basically that job lasted 3 weeks, and I actually was slightly enjoying it, minus the hours. So it kind of sucked that they were basically using me. And now that leads me to the job that I'm in now, which unfortunately again is not really working out. I needed full-time hours and they can only offer part-time, But the job itself is actually good, so I'm just going to continue working part-time hours, and hopefully in the future they can bump me up to like full-time hours, or I might start studying again. I was thinking of studying childcare and maybe doing a traineeship in childcare, because I think that would be amazing, and I love kids, so I think that would be a really fun and fulfilling career. But I'm still thinking on that, divvying up whether I can afford to go back and study and then also like work as well. So yeah, that is basically where I'm at now. Let me know down below what your worst job has ever been. I would love to hear it. Hopefully it's not super bad, because I hope all you guys love your jobs. But yeah, leave me some stories in the comments, that would be fun. And let me know what positions, careers, that kind of thing that you guys work in. If you like this type of video, please give it a big thumbs up for me. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!